Oh, God. Black Americans, in everything you do, hold God tight. Because everything that is happening, you cannot convince me that it's not God that is fighting your battle. You cannot convince me that all of this that is happening is just by your own strength. There is fire on the mountain. Run, run, run. Turning Point USA. How far? I thought you people said you guys are turning point. Or is it turning back point? Because the last time I checked, you people has literally not turned anything to any point. The only thing that is happening right now is you people coming to expose yourself, disgrace yourself, rooting out what has been hidden in the past, what has been dug inside the pit and covered. That is the only thing that is happening. Guys, I don't know if you guys have literally seen this video, but if you guys have seen it, okay, just go ahead, let me know your thoughts in the comment section, because I feel like what God is doing is just for Black Americans, as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And with that being said, let's go right into this video. Watch, and I'll be back with commentaries.
I've tried to record this like 7 times and it's just not working, so I'm just gonna say what I have to say, and if it lands in the right hands, whatever. My name is Amanda. I worked for Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk for 4 years. One of those years, I was a donor relations officer in Phoenix, Arizona, and that means is I worked with all the donors within a certain region for all of Turning Point's assets. So Turning Point Action, Turning Point Academy, Turning Point USA, Faith, Blexit, podcasting, everything. When I saw Candace Owens' comment this morning, granted, I am not a Candace Owens fan, personally. And that comment, I felt like I had to say something. What I did for Turning Point USA within that department was some of the most... I can't even begin to describe it, because the people that I felt like I was working for were not... They were horrible. I mean, like, it was just some of the worst times ever. And I was working for such an amazing, brilliant idea of an organization, and to see it for what it really was behind the scenes, and what makes it Turning Point, which is money. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. That's how it works in the nonprofit world. It took me so much towards the end not to tell donors to take their money elsewhere. That is the first time I've said that out loud. And I'm so proud of myself for being able to come out of that organization and be who I am today. And I hope that all of my amazing, brilliant friends that I know that are still there are able to find their moment to move on. Gosh, the people that are behind it all are just like the worst of the worst. I don't take things personally. This is not a personal vendetta. I just know there are serious backings to whatever her claim is. I've seen it. I know the disgust and the terrible things that go on. So anyway, just leaving this here for people to find and see what they think. But all in all, stop watching the news. Stop paying attention to people who just don't matter in your life. Focus on your family, your friends, your loved ones. Get out of the political world. It's not real. None of it is real. But yeah, love the Lord. Love the Lord. Love the Lord. Amen. Bye. All right. We are back. I'm going to try my best here to get through as many things as possible. If you're watching this, chances are you saw my last one. My name is Amanda. I am a former donor relations officer for Turning Point USA. I worked for Turning Point and Charlie for 4 years. There are some things I wanted to touch on. Charlie. He was incredible at what he did because he was able to do it without having the distraction of the business. He delegated a lot. And there were some things that were definitely going on that I do not believe that he knew about. You've probably noticed there aren't a lot of Turning Point employees coming on the internet and talking about it. It's insane. The fear and just... There are so many of us who have so many stories and so many things to say, but they make you sign everything and anything under the sun. That is why I was so vague. A lot of people were talking about, well, just say what you have to say. Why are you talking like that? Because I can't. I cannot. They are not above suing someone for a video that gets whatever views on TikTok. I was not fired. That was another one that people said a lot. Oh, she had to have been fired. I left on very reasonable terms after seeing what I saw and knowing what I knew. I just couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't be there in that environment with the people who were just... Ugh. Some people wanted proof that I worked there. I dropped the other two on the floor, but staff badges at the yin yang, and I can put some pictures if that does any justice, but I just want everybody to know who's on this side of TikTok, if you're going down a rabbit hole, just do yourself a favor and don't. There are so many amazing things in this world, and there is no need for you to spend the amount of time and energy that you are potentially spending on this, digging into these things that don't necessarily affect you. And I'm not saying that they affect me either. I've stayed so far out of this up until this point, and there is a reason for that. The anxiety and stress and depression that comes from just being in a world of such deception and lies and deceit, it will put a toll on you. I'm saying that after being in it for 4 years every single day. Just be vigilant, be safe, know when you're going in the right direction, and know when to stop. I hope you all are having an amazing day. I love you all so much, and I don't even know you. Anybody who wished me safety and protection, I'm praying for you as well. Focus on the Lord and His love. Spread love and light. Yeah. Bye. Okay. I think I'm just going to make it like a thing every 2 years to post something that breaks the internet and then nobody knows who I am and then it just comes back again. My story. How I got involved with Turning Point, how I started working for them, how I ended up as a donor relations officer. 2021, I was a freshman at Louisiana State University, making my way on campus. Saw a table with conservative material on it. Brilliant. Went to a meeting, loved it. Went to a conference in Panama City Beach, Florida. That was the first time I saw Charlie Kirk live. Absolutely loved it. Knew I wanted to be involved. Went completely in. Ended up starting to work for them part-time on campus as a campus coordinator, which isn't even a thing anymore. Basically, me just signing up students, going out and tabling every week and getting students involved. Outside of that, I also got really heavily involved with state policy. I was working on bills, I was writing bills, testifying on bills, getting them passed, getting them killed. One of my testimonies ended up going viral. Turning Point picked it up and said, "We think you're great. Want to go to Israel?" Yeah, I want to go to Israel. So I packed up my stuff, went to Israel for 10 days in the summer of 22, applied for a full-time job, interviewed in Israel, got the job, came back, basically immediately started working as a high school field representative for Turning Point USA in the Bayou region. For about 2 years, I worked on that and did all kinds of stuff in between. I ran for state rep, did all kinds of other crazy stuff, and then ended up making the decision to leave. After leadership started doing all kinds of crazy stuff, I was not interested. Well, word got out that I would be leaving, and I got dragged right back in. some wonderful people within the organization, and that was not sarcasm, by the way, they are incredible, decided that I would be a really good donor relations officer, working with donors, fundraising, building those relationships for Turning Point. Great. I packed up all of my stuff and moved to the other side of the country, left everybody and everything I knew in Louisiana, and I was left up to the people who I was referring to in the last video, in my first video. And I will not be naming names, I will not be getting into specifics. I will say as much as I can without putting myself, my family, and my property in any sort of danger of anything. It was about a year of doing that and going through the motions of whatever it was that I was being put through in that position, and ended up leaving. I made amazing memories and amazing friends, but I would say there are some changes that I would have made. If anything, my faith grew 10 million times stronger from that situation. I got baptized this past February. I love the Lord more than anything. I was not a Christian when I got involved with Turning Point USA, and am one of the strongest Christians you will probably ever meet now. What a journey it has been, and it all started with Charlie. I am eternally grateful for that man. I'll do anything and say anything that I can to let people know that he was amazing at what he did. But yeah, ultimately, be safe and give your life to the Lord. Bye.
More on Turning Point. I love how they're acting like they have somehow the upper hand in this situation. They're acting like, yep, this is Candace's only time to come in, last chance to clear everything once and for all. She doesn't have anything to answer to. You guys have something to answer to. You have several weeks, months of questions that you need to answer to, that you've been sitting in silence about for months. She is giving you an opportunity to clear your name and save the reputation of your company, because she has the most popular show on YouTube, most views by a mile out of anybody in the world on YouTube. We all see what's going on, and anybody who says that Candace is crazy, you have not watched a single episode of her series. If you watch 2 episodes of it, start from the top, just start watching the episodes. Nobody with a fully functioning brain will sit there afterwards and say, no, there's nothing there. You have to be out of your mind to watch what she's brought forward and say that that's not suspicious. So many things that are red flags in this whole situation, and it's embarrassing when I go on Twitter and see people acting like there's nothing there, like Candace is crazy. It's like, you're so embarrassing, because you're just exposing that you never look into anything before commenting on it. And that's the most pathetic thing that you could ever be, is somebody who will speak on something before actually looking into it on their own. At least look into it, okay? Candace is not the one who needs to answer to things. They are the ones who need to answer to things, because they're looking incredibly suspicious.
This is shocking. I've always said I believe Candace just because I believe her to be credible, just by her body language, how she interacts. But I just saw that there's an account, Fueled by Faith, on Turning Point USA or something like that.
My name is Amanda. I worked for Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk for 4 years.
This is an ex-employee from Turning Point USA that worked in the donor department.
I was a donor relations officer, because I worked with all the donors within a certain region.
She dealt with the donors in some capacity, and she openly admits that she is not a Candace Owens fan.
Not a Candace Owens fan.
She said that the stuff that Candace Owens is referring to about the corruption within the Turning Point USA organization.
I felt like I had to say something. It took me so much towards the end not to tell donors to take their money elsewhere.
Now, she didn't specify anything about Charlie Kirk, but it sounded to me, the way I understood it, is the people running the organization. She said, to quote, the worst of the worst.
The people that are behind it all, the worst of the worst. There are serious backings to whatever her claim is. I've seen it.
So the way I see it, and from watching Candace Owens, is Charlie Kirk started something great, or started something that he believed in, his mission. And the people that flocked in and started helping him raise money, the people he hired, the organization just seems to have gotten out of control. And you have to go watch. This woman only has about 1,000 followers. She only has 2 videos on her account. And if you watch what she says, you can tell she is completely credible. And she left the company. And I'm telling you right now, this just shows that Candace Owens is on top of this. And all the people out there trying to discredit her, if you're being paid to discredit her, that's one thing. I mean, that's just the nature of the internet. But if you're just discrediting Candace Owens because you just feel like you have to discredit her, and you don't watch her podcast, and you're not following what she's doing, she is pointing out and exposing some serious issues and just the world political scene. And it seems to be very gross. It seems like she's onto something. But listen to Fueled by Faith. Go check it out, because this is just an ordinary person stepping up and saying, yeah, there's something behind what Candace is talking about. Call the mortgage engineer. Let's get this done, people.
So your girl's back at it again. Miss Candace Owens tweeted out this morning that apparently the leadership in Turning Point USA is responsible for the death of Charlie Kirk. And of course, today she said that she's going to be naming names and providing evidence for all of those claims that she's had over the past 3 months. I will believe it when I see it. Okay, I will believe it when she actually drops names. And not just names of the people that she thinks were involved, right? The leadership in Turning Point USA, but I will believe it when she names the names and the sources that she has. I don't want any more of this bullshit that's like, well, I have a source in Turning Point USA. My source sent me this little email here. And then she never names the fucking source. Oh, you got your information on Wikipedia? Great. What was the source that fed to Wikipedia? Right? What was the source that actually told you that? Because nothing matters if somebody told you, who told your brother, who told your sister, who told your sister-in-law, who then came back to you in a dream and told you this information. None of that matters. If you're going to name a name of the person who's in charge of whoever is in upper management in Turning Point USA, that they're a part of Charlie Kirk's death, I want to know how you know that. And then not only how you know that, but who told you that? What is the hard evidence? Do you have video footage? What's the video footage? Do you have written emails, written letters? Who wrote those emails? Who sent those emails? What's the email address that it's coming from? What's the VPN that it's coming from? Who? What's their job title? Where do they live? Who is their brother? Who's their sister? Who's their mom? Who's their dad? Who are these people that are your sources? Those are the names that I want. At this point, I don't even just want to know who killed Charlie Kirk or who she believes killed Charlie Kirk. I want to know the sources, because sources mean more than everything. Candy Dandy, that's the names that we want. Those are the names. Those are the names. And until we get it, I don't want to hear any more shit from Candy Dandy.
Turning Point called her a bully. They finally addressed Candace, as they should have all along. And not only did they do it, they did it on the Charlie Kirk Show podcast. One of his nearest and dearest friends, an actual friend, Andrew Colvett, went on the Charlie Kirk podcast today, and he actually did it. He said Candace Owens' names. He said every claim that she has accused them of or accused anybody of. And he said that they were all a lie, but wait, it gets even better. Not only did he go through the entire list of things that he claimed that Candace Owens said that was completely false and wrong. He said, number one, the reason why they stayed silent all along was because he felt that what her claims were absolutely outrageous and who would believe her, but apparently stupid people do. Secondly, the reason why they haven't responded is because Charlie never fed the trolls. Yep, that's right, they called her a troll. And he thought that that's what Charlie would want. Number three reason why he said that they did not reply was because Charlie was always a good friend to Candace, and that he hoped that Candace would wake up one day and be a good friend back. But it's almost 3 months to the date that Charlie was assassinated brutally in front of everybody. And, well, she had to change her tone. I mean, mean, how could you, right? If you create this whole narrative for yourself, you got to keep it up. Now, here's the best part. He said that they are even willing to host a live stream here in Phoenix, Arizona, and they invited Candace to join the live stream with them here in Phoenix, Arizona. And we already know what she's going to say. She's going to say, why would I show up in person with them? It would be so dangerous of me. It would be so dangerous with the claims that I'm making for me to go to his memorial. She is going to have all of the exact same sentiments. Claim that they are valid concerns, even with security and everything. Oh no, she won't show up with his team. But you know, it all makes sense, because when you host a podcast where you are the one and only and nobody can dispute what you're saying or what your claims are, of course, people are going to believe you. I mean, you sound so confident. But she can just keep making money off of Charlie Kirk's assassination, no matter how sick it is.
TPUSA is shady as hell. The fact these people chose to do an interview on Candace Owens' husband's birthday without even texting her is wild. She had to find out on X. She even offered to cancel her own show to go on theirs. The fact they don't want to do it virtually sounds suspicious, especially with the threats on her life. On top of that, she says all the money can go to TPUSA, and what do they say? We're continuing without Candace. No response to the 12 TPUSA lies she listed. All they have is she's just crazy. And now they're getting ratioed in every single reply. Former employees are now coming out revealing the toxic culture inside. These people are terrified and TPUSA keeps embarrassing themselves. And then the ultimate gaslighting of, we're not booking a guest, we never said we were. Candace was given the opportunity and she didn't decline. And the reason they gave for not responding to her, we hoped it all would just go away. Honestly, it's probably the only truthful thing they said since Charlie Kirk was taken out. Candace Owens isn't destroying Charlie Kirk's legacy. Turning Point USA is.
It looks like we're going to get a debate between Candace Owens and Turning Point USA in regards to Candace Owens' theories about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Charlie and Candace were very close friends. And since his assassination on September 10th, it's been very clear that Candace has not really believed the mainstream narrative that's been put out there by the FBI, local law enforcement, Turning Point USA, and she's questioned a lot of things. Recently, she said, I received information last night that put the final pieces together for me. I now can say with full confidence that I believe Charlie Kirk was betrayed by the leadership of Turning Point USA and some of the very people who eulogized him on stage. She then went on to release a video about this the next day. This isn't the first time that she's pushed back against Turning Point USA and others, but this was the first time that she got a response from Turning Point USA. Blake Neff was the producer of the Charlie Kirk show. He recently released a 7-minute response in regards to Candace Owens' claims attacking Charlie's closest friends. For 3 months, we preferred to remain silent, but the attacks have not stopped. Today, I delivered this response. It's 7 minutes long or 8 minutes long. I would go and watch. But at the end of it, he says, hey, we want to welcome Candace Owens to our studios here in Phoenix, Arizona, and we can host a debate. And today, Candace Owens responded to that by saying, I accept. We can do that debate tomorrow if you want to. You pick the place, you can pick the time. We don't need to plan for this. I want it to be authentic. You can take the money. We can raise money live. I'm going to say 50% chance this doesn't happen, but if it does, it would be huge. I think Candace kind of gone off the deep end a little bit with their theories, but I mean, if she wants to debate them, go ahead. And she accepted it. She's like, that's great. I want this to happen. I think you could raise millions of dollars if you do this, and I would certainly be tuned in. We'll keep an eye on this. We live in the craziest of times.
I think it's about time that we should all be asking what should be obvious questions about exactly who Candace Owens is today. Not the Candace Owens that used to exist back when she was with Turning Point USA and with the Daily Wire and was a conservative firebrand, because that all seemed to change right about the same time that she met and spent 18 days in a whirlwind romance with a guy by the name of George Farmer, who's now her husband, who is the son of a British aristocrat, who also happens to be the former CEO of Parler. Not the Parler that existed before it was taken offline, but the Parler that was brought back online. That's right, the CEO of Parler, the same Parler that many people believe was brought back specifically to start the process of an intelligence information operation, to gather information not only about January 6 defendants, but also to start mapping the networks of conservative voices, which was then used by the Biden administration and organizations that seem to have at least been tangentially connected to the assassination of Charlie Kirk, like Disagree Better, the Dignity Index, Common Purpose, and all of these networks that seem to have come out of the woodwork after his assassination and are now going to provide a solution to deal with extreme voices, extreme voices of which they considered Charlie Kirk to be the leader of. No, I'm not suggesting that Candace Owens was involved in step one, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, but what I am suggesting is that she is now leading the effort for step two, which is to systematically destroy Turning Point USA, because suddenly, within a few days of his assassination, she shows up on the scene and it immediately starts driving what I would consider to be Iranian disinformation narratives across the internet. Did you know that more than 70% of Candace Owens' current engagement is coming from the exact same types of troll and bot farm accounts that you and I typically engage with when we're talking about immigration or when we're defending the Trump agenda? Those are the people that are now supporting and defending Candace Owens. Her newfound audience is the same audience that I've referred to for months as Blue Talk, and yet some conservatives are following it hook, line, and sinker. And I also can't ignore the fact that Candace Owens' husband was educated at Oxford University, which is the center of all of this Disagree Better Common Purpose Dignity Index global network of NGOs who are attempting to change the United States from the inside out, and yet her voice is the one that is activating it. I also can't ignore the fact that British intelligence was deeply involved in the process of developing the Russian collusion hoax and the Steele dossier, and yet seems to also have been involved in revamping Parler, of which Candace Owens' husband was the CEO.
The Lord that answered by fire, let him be the God of Black Americans. You know, I say this in my videos always, especially whenever I'm talking about the Epstein files. I said a lot of things are still going to be exposed. A lot of things are still going to be rooted out. There is a lot of things that these people has literally hidden, buried, done in the dark that is literally going to be coming to limelight. You know, especially this case of Charlie Kirk. Ever since this guy died, it looked more like a lot of things that we do not know is coming to the present, and they are beginning to question each other, fight each other, ask each other questions. If there's anybody I will literally give my flowers a little bit, I'll give it to Candace Owens. Don't get me wrong, right? I'm not really her fan. I'm not really her fan, especially right from Charlie Kirk's days. Especially when they do all this, they are debating, and she will sit there literally until this Charlie Kirk talk to people that look like her just because she is married to a white person. I was never a fan. But the moment this man died, a lot of questions have been able to rise. A lot of staffs in Turning Point have been able to come out and also say out one or two. And you know, the annoying part is them not going straight to the point. They are trying to beat around the bush, forgetting that Black Americans are smart people. Black Americans are people that understand things fast before you even say it. That's just the honest truth. Do your research. So this lady, even when she's talking, I just feel like she's not being straight to the point. She's just waving it, and she has not really said, I can tell you for a whole fact that she has not really said what is inside the box. I don't want to talk too much, right? Because of, you guys know, especially when you're disbursing informations like this on the internet, so that they don't come find me and sue me and say, you need to bring $1 million for defamation. I don't want to say it too much, but I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and watch everything unfold. Because whenever we think that we're just sliding out of some part of things, another ones keep coming up. Okay. You that you're watching me, let me know exactly what you think. What do you think that is about to happen? Especially this 2026 that we're going to come in is going to be like a lot of battles: physical, spiritual, emotional, psychological battles. Just name them. But as a Black American person, I just want you to be strong enough, be smart enough. Just sit down, put your hand like this, and just watch them display whatever they are displaying. And just know that it is your God that is fighting for you. I don't want to say too much. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do it, subscribe, like this video, drop your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Sonia, just keep quiet. Bye, guys.